Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Faith Ministries After Church. We are having another gathering of great presenters today. If you all remember, 2 months ago, we talked a little bit about College Credit Plus and some other options for high school students. Last month, we talked about FAFSA and Ohio 529 accounts. And today, we have an opportunity to talk about some options for our youth as it relates to military options that can occur for students after they graduate from high school. So we're really excited to have this panel here today. Really, the goal of these conversations is to make sure that our young people know what their options are after they graduate from high school, and whether that's related to going to college, going directly to the military, or going direct workforce, allowing them to have a place where they know they have options that will work out for them. And so today we are excited to have a panel of folks that are going to talk a little bit about military options and what are available for our students. I am Carlos Bing. I'm only here to kind of kick this off, but my friend, Sister Javonda Curry, is here, and so we're going to swap out here shortly. I'm going to bring her up here so she can take over and get into our questions. Sister Javonda, are you ready? You ready? Well, let's swap. I'm going to have you come over here and take my seat. I'm going to slide over here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Brother Carlos. Thank you, Scholarship Committee. I would also like to thank our pastor and First Lady, Mr. and Mrs. Dr. Wise. Thank you very much for your support with the Scholarship Committee. So I want to introduce my panel again. I'm Javonda Curry. I'm part of the Scholarship Committee. I would like to introduce our panel. These are definitely some of my colleagues that I work with. I have here Sergeant Melissa Levy. She's not in uniform today, but she's definitely still in the military. I have here Sergeant Terry Bell. He's actually a recruiter for the National Guard. And I also have here Sergeant Daniel Yaboa. He's an Education Service Officer for the National Guard. So just to give you a little background, basically here in Ohio, we have 2 scholarships that are for our National Guardsmen. The Ohio Guard Scholarship Program, and we also have federal tuition assistance that they can use. So basically, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the 2, and then we're going to get into a question and answer panel with our panelists, question and answer session. So just an overview of the National Guard scholarship. Basically, a lot of times when you ask a service member what reason they came into the military, it's usually because of education benefits. So our panel basically consists of National Guardsmen. Yes, there are other branches of the military, but today we're just going to go over some of the benefits for the National Guard. So for the National Guard Scholarship, a service member, a student or candidate basically do have to enlist in the military for 3 or 6 years. So basically what the scholarship pays, it pays up to 100% of their tuition if they're attending a public college. If they're attending a private college, it will pay usually the average of that. But however, the average of paying that average, and if they use federal tuition assistance, which I'll go over next, in conjunction with that, it will usually pay their full tuition. It also funds some credentialing opportunities such as non-traditional courses. So that was one of the newer things that was added to the National Guard Scholarship for them to fund. So some courses such as, cosmetology, ASC, nail tech. So, there's just a plethora of courses that will also be funded. Also, one of the changes that the scholarship made was that service members have to use federal tuition assistance. And one of the reasons of that being implemented is because it actually saves the state money. Scholarship program is funded by the state. Federal tuition assistance is funded by federal government. Also, if you decide to join the military, you have to remain in good standing in order to use these benefits. So the other benefit that is very popular with the National Guard is use of the federal tuition assistance program. So as I mentioned, federal tuition assistance is a federal program. There is a limit. There is only $4,000 worth of assistance that a service member can receive every fiscal year, up to 16 credits. So mainly what funds service member education is the Ohio National Guard Scholarship. Again, a service member must be in good standing. And it also funds up to 130 hours of undergraduate and 39 graduate credits. So the difference between the scholarship program and the federal program is that the federal program will fund some of a master's degree if you decide to go that route. So giving you that overview of the two benefits that our military guardsmen use mainly, I will now get into some questions for our panel here that I know they're eager to answer for you all. First question that I will ask is, and either one of you can answer this question, or two or all of you can answer this question. So, how has using military benefits helped you with obtaining your education?
So specifically for me, I use the student loan repayment program, which is up to $50,000. I went to the Columbus College of Art and Design, where I unfortunately racked up exactly $50,000 in student loan debt. So the reason why I enlisted was for them to pay off my student loans. So that's the reason why.
Yes. So Sergeant Bell mentioned another benefit of joining the military. Some people join to pay back their student loans that they have already accrued before even joining the military. So that's just another benefit. So that's awesome, Sergeant Bell. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That would be same for me. When I came in, I already had my master's degree, so I had some debt accrued already. And the main purpose for me joining was to get the student loan repayment program, which Sergeant Bell said it pays up to $50,000. So I got that in my contract. It has to be in my contract in order to get paid. And I also got another benefit called the kicker. That would be on top of another program we have called the GI Bill. So as Ms. Giovanna talked about, the Ohio National Guard Scholarship Program, the Federal Teaching Assistance Program, we also have another benefit called the GI Bill, which for somebody to be eligible for that, they have to enlist for a maximum of 6 years contract. And once they complete their training, go to basic training and do active initial training to get a military occupation specialty, they become eligible for that benefit. And they get about 36 months of benefit they can use in that GI Bill program. And it pays $439 a month once they go to school full time. So when we have the federal teaching assistants pay, and the federal teaching assistant and then the scholarship pay for tuition and fees, the GI Bill money is what goes into the service members' pocket in order to help them fund gas to go to school, and also pay for my personal expenses and stuff like that. So for me, I didn't get a chance to use that because I already got my degree. So the student loan repayment program was what helped me. And then I was almost done with my master's, so I did use a GI Bill, which paid $439 a month for at least 6 months when I came back from AIT, which helped me know that there's something out there for me to use it. So it's better to come in when you are actually getting ready to go to school, so you take advantage of the scholarship, the federal teaching assistant, the GI Bill, and all that good stuff. That way when you get out, you'll not be in debt.
Thank you for sharing. So Sergeant Yaboy, he mentioned about the GI Bill, which is a whole nother program, but it's a great program, and it's also a program that you can be able to transfer to your children or your wife based on earning active duty time in the military. So yes, another great program that the military has available.
So I personally have used the GI Bill to obtain my nursing degree. I have a bachelor's in nursing. It's fairly easy. You really just sign up for it through the military, and you make an appointment with the VA rep at your college, and you go over the paperwork that you have to fill out. And really all it is they talk to each other. You're kind of out of the mix, and they pay it. And whatever, if there's anything left over that the scholarship may not pay for, like books and room and board and things like that, then you're responsible for that. But tuition, it's 100%. I didn't pay anything.
Yes.
So.
Awesome program. The scholarship program, I must say, when I first moved here, they did not use the federal tuition assistance program, which is the program I manage for the state. So, I was adamant about, we have to get these soldiers using this benefit. Mm-hmm. So eventually they changed the policy, and now they're mandating that they use federal tuition assistance yearly, because it's only $4,000, so it don't pay the full amount of their tuition, but it definitely helps. Thank you for sharing. Great. So next question. What obstacles did you face while juggling work, family, and attending college?
I'll go first. Other than sleep. Actually, I was fortunate enough because I worked for the military full time and they were fully aware and supportive of me going to school. So they were able to work around my schedule. Some days I would go to work, go to school and come back, or I might come into work late and then stay later because I went to school during the day. So that portion, the work it was stressful, but it made it easier because my employment was very supportive of that. One of the other things, as far as like family goes, I mean, honestly, whether I was working or not, school was first, so I didn't do a lot of extracurricular activities outside of working in school. I had to stay focused, so.
And she don't have a husband. She don't have kids. She do have a fur baby, so that made it a little easier too.
Kind of.
So for me personally, I was doing 2 jobs and at the same time going to school. So I had to choose the option between doing some of the classes in person, some of the classes online, to kind of make sure I can take care of myself and my family. So where I'm from, when it comes to family, it's not just you. You help whoever needs help. So I had to work, and the only way for me to sustain myself and also sustain them was to kind of do 2 jobs. So I was kind of sleeping like roughly 3 hours a day, making sure I go to school in the morning, come back, go to work, and then also if the money wasn't enough, go to get another part-time job. That will allow me to read my notes whilst, so I was working at a gas station where at night, and there's nobody on there, you close the door and then you just stand by the cash register. You have your notes right in front of the cash register, and if there's nobody in the counter, you just start reading. And then whenever at 2 o'clock, that's when you stop selling alcohol. When I shut the door, I sit down, read my notes a little bit, and then coming to the end of the shift, you just go back and start mopping and cleaning the place. So it was kind of hard. And then sometimes when you leave the place around 7 a.m., you still got to go to school. And then when you go to school, when a teacher stand there and start writing on the board, you just fall asleep. So one time I remember walking to class, the math teacher asked me, "Yeah, boy, are you gonna stay awake today?" And then I smiled. So now I didn't know I was sleeping until when he's talking, I fall asleep, and then when he's done talking, my eyes get open. It was very challenging, but it all comes down to you being motivated to see where you want to put your career in, and you setting time limits and be like, "Hey, I want to get done with school in this time frame." That way, when you get married and have children and stuff like that, all that part will be taken care of. Because when you have family comes in the picture, like a husband or a wife or kids come in the picture, it's a different ball game altogether. So all kind of boils down to being determined, like Sergeant Levy said. You have to be determined that this is what you want to do, and then asking the right questions and making sure you take every opportunity that comes your way.
Yes.
That's the only way to get through this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I totally agree. I have my stories as well of juggling work and family. But we have a lot of questions here, so we want to get through to them. Thank you for sharing. Did you have anything to add, Sergeant Bell? Or?
I didn't go to, I wasn't in the Guard going to school. I went to school first. So just in general, when these 2 sergeants spoke about time management and the importance about family, I think it's just about who is is supportive of you no matter what your decision is, and as long as you are upholding yourself as a upstanding citizen and a great family member, friend, you have that group that supports you, and no matter what you go through, you'll still get through it. So
I totally agree. My mother. Thank you. Thank you. Great feedback. Next question. Do you feel it is worth joining the military to pay for college or school?
Let's see, I'll go first for this one again. I'm sorry, y'all.
You're good.
So I do think that it is worth it. I think with any corporation or company, it comes with its goods and it comes with bad. So there are things that, just like anywhere else you work, from a top corporation to a fast food chain, there's good things and there's bad things. Me personally, I feel like it is worth it to join the military for education benefits, if nothing else, to avoid debt. Also, the military has provided a very great lifestyle for me. I do not think that I would be living how I'm living if I hadn't joined the military. So I'm very grateful for that and for the friendships and family that I have gained along the way. But just to stick to, yeah, Jovanda's one of them, just to stick to education, absolutely. You can always just do a 3-year contract or a 6-year contract, finish out your master's. If you don't like it, you can get out and you have gained your education for free.
Yeah, so I have to agree on that, as well as some people don't want to join specifically for the education benefits, which is obviously great, but a lot of people join for the training aspect, and when it comes to the training, you know, they develop as a person when it comes to discipline and things of that nature. So they're able to grow as an adult, and just with that in general, you know, you want to be proud in knowing that you are growing as an individual, and know that your future is pretty much set as far as stability and things that you're able to not just provide yourself, but to your family and future family. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you, thank you.
To add a little bit to that, it's good to join, because once you come in, it's good to know that by the time you get to the finish line, you wouldn't have debt. And also, like Sergeant said, the training and development is what a lot of employers are looking for. When they see that you're in the military, on your resume, they know for sure you are disciplined, your time management is very good, and then they want to bring you in to interview you. So it sets you above your peers when in terms of looking for a job. And like I said, knowing that you're not owing anything, it's a good feeling to start your life.
And I totally agree with that. I am also a veteran. I was in the U.S. Army, so I did about a little over 10 years, but I started my career out with the reserves, and that's kind of like going into this next question. But I decided to do a few years of active duty time as well. But throughout, I had worked for the United States government, which I'm still employed with the United States government. So, you know, I can definitely say and agree, you know, with them, you know, throughout my career. I've definitely had my ups and downs, but I can definitely say the pros outweigh the cons. So, you know, the government, I always say the government has definitely taken great care of me, and I'm grateful for that. I mean, you know, this is my family right here as well. So, and I appreciate you all answering the call of duty today. I really appreciate it. So the next question is, and because we have a recruiter here on the panel, he may be able to address this one. What should a student that join the military part-time? So we have, you know, you have options. You can either go active duty, or if you just want to be part-time like I was when I first started out, I went in as a reservist. What can they expect life to be as a reservist? Because, you know, a lot of students fear going into the military because of what's going on. So, you know, we kind of call the reservists part-timers. So what can they expect life to be like?
Sure. So beyond the misconception of what is being viewed on, you know, all of our media platforms and TV alike, it's just as I said, you know, National Guard is a part-time service with full-time benefits. Being that it's part-time, you are able to attend school full-time or part-time, or work a full-time job, just as, you know, any normal person would do. And 1 week in a month, you would only serve as a guardsman, which is what your contract would entail. And we also provide the opportunity of your annual training, which is 2 weeks during the summer. So you will only be serving 39 days out of the year for, you know, full-time benefits, which is your National Guard scholarship and GI Bill, and the kicker as well. So it's just a normal life. You know, you're living your normal life, kicking it with family and friends, just like any other time. And part-time, you know, you're serving with the Guard 39 days out of the year.
Great.
So to add to that would be, it's only 2 days out of the 30 days in a month. So if you take a month to be 30 days period, just 2 days show up to your unit and in uniform and just do your duties. If you say your duties will be the job that you selected to do in the military when you went to training. So, and then when you come back home, the remaining 28 days is when you go to work, still with family, you don't go nowhere. Not to say sometimes we don't deploy. They all based on need basis. In terms whenever the National Guard needed to go to, like when I've been in, my deployment was in Washington D.C., still in the state. So we have, as a National Guard, you'll be local most of the time. Once in a while, then you go out and stuff like that. But it's all to build your experience and then help you know what is out there that you didn't know. So just 2 days, and then you get all the full-time benefits and end up with college for free, and then setting yourself up above your peers, and also making sure that you can get a federal job when you are in the military. You get security clearance and stuff like that. That helps you when you're looking for a job. It helps you a long way.
Absolutely. Secret clearance right here. So I totally agree with what Sergeant Yeboah, had mentioned. There's a plethora of benefits of being in the military or even working for the Department of Defense. You just have so many options. It's great. I mean, I can't complain. It's been great. So last question, because we're gonna kind of do a little swapping here, because we have more questions that we want to question here. So last question, what good advice would you give those students that are considering joining the military as a good takeaway, good or bad, whichever you prefer to address?
I would say my good advice is, number one, nobody likes debt. It's not a good feeling to think that when you're done with school, you'll send about $600 to pay off debt out of the money that you're gonna get. So technically, if you look at the person who didn't go to school, if you take out how much you're paying out of student loans from it, you guys are in the same boat.
Right.
So you will not have a bigger picture of feeling of how it feels like obtaining a degree. So my biggest advice is that don't be afraid. The National Guard is just like you being a citizen soldier. You still live in your community, protecting your community, and answering to the call whenever we need you. And then when you come in, we don't leave you hanging. It's a family. Now, people first when it matters, making sure that we take care of each other. We have a whole education incentive team there to support you throughout your whole career, as in guide you through how to apply for scholarship, what it entails, where to go, who to talk to, and stuff like that. And that will help. And the recruiters are also out there when you test them about anything that you might have, any question. And then whenever you need help struggling with life, when you call us, we have a whole lot of resources out there utilizing Military One Source to talk to somebody, just in case you feel like committing suicide. Just call that number and somebody will be willing to talk to you. So there's a whole lot of resources out there. Don't be afraid. We are a family, and I will not take this in the wrong way at all. I'm glad I joined, and I wish that all the upcoming folks, like finishing high school, which is a requirement, finish that and then come see us, and let's all party together.
And I like the point that Sergeant Yeboah brought up about, when you think about deployment, you think about going to Iraq or, Kuwait or whatever have you. A lot of times with the National Guardsmen, they actually do deployments stateside. So, they also have opportunities like, if you don't have a job in your civilian life, that they can bring you in on orders to, kind of like just do your job maybe with the military full time for a month or two. So those options are available as well. So again, great benefits. I greatly appreciate you all. I think we're going to bring on Miss Vicky.
Okay.
In the place of you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we have joining us Miss Vicky Callender. She is a member here at Faith. She's also our First Lady Armor Bearer. Thank you for joining us. So Vicky is prior Air Force. So I'm going to address a few questions to her that I want, her to answer, because we're all Army National Guard. So, but we still have love for other branches.
Just like the D9.
Right. So Vicky, can you go ahead and address to us how using your military, because I know you use your military benefits in a different way. So help us understand how you used your benefits to help you with obtaining your education.
Okay, thank you. I am Master Sergeant retired, Vicki White Callender from the United States Air Force. Just wanted to get that out there.
Okay.
But I initially, right? I initially joined the reserves. I was just a reservist for a year, and then I just wanted to go active duty. So I spent about 12 plus years active duty, where I initially used the active duty tuition assistance, where now it's 100%. Back then they paid 75%, but that was still a great benefit when you can take a class and only pay 25% in your books. So I did use that. And one of the benefits that the Air Force has is that they have their own community college. So while you are going to basic training, technical school, you are earning college credit. So I obtained actually 2 Community College of the Air Force Associates of Science degrees.
Nice.
It's based on your job. So I have one in human resource and the other one in education and training.
Nice.
So with those degrees, I was able to transfer just like to a regular college toward my bachelor's. But on the way, I got another associate's with Columbus State before I went to DeVry and graduated. But yeah, using active duty benefits, like you say, they know you're using the benefits. So I worked in the education office back then, so they're very supportive of you using those benefits while you're there.
Absolutely.
So that's how it helped me. And when I did retire and finish school, I didn't have a bill.
Absolutely, that
So-
is awesome. So Miss Vicki, she really took advantage of education benefits, because it sounds like she received like 3 associate's degrees.
Yes,
and-
it does sound like that.
So that is awesome.
Great.
Is there something I can add on?
Yes.
So one thing that I do want to add on is, even though you are receiving the benefit with 100% scholarship, you can still apply for grants. So I got a lot of money that I didn't have to pay back with filing for FAFSA. So you can still apply, and you should.
And that is a great point, and that was one of the questions that I kind of skipped over, so thank you,
you're
Melissa. But basically, if you want to know whether or not, if I get all these scholarships and I don't have any tuition to pay, can I still, fill out my FAFSA? And I know Brother Carlos and Sister Seneca has talked about that. You absolutely can, because a lot of times if you qualify for Pell Grant money, which is what we call free money, that money goes back into your pocket. A lot of the programs that we're talking about, the colleges are paid directly from the military. So that money does not go to you. It goes to your college. So definitely we urge you to apply for your FAFSA to make sure you are capturing any other grants or scholarships per se that you may be eligible for. So great point. Thank you for bringing that up,
No
Melissa.
problem.
Yeah, when I was started with DeVry, in order for me to use, because I was back on the military 100% tuition then, and I had to fill out the FAFSA, even though I didn't use it, but I still had to apply it for it to get that benefit.
And some
out there.
programs, like you said, they definitely even require you to
Right.
fill it out. So
Right.
good point. Thank you. So, Miss Vicki, I know you know some other information about scholarships. So can you tell me about some of the scholarships that you use, or some that you know that are aware of that can be used for children?
After I retired, my son was eligible for I had to write the name because it's a very long name, the Ohio War Orphan and Severely Disabled Veterans Children's Scholarship, and they call it WOC. So he went to a house school. You have to attend a house school. And what they do, they vote every year on a percentage they pay. So while he went to Youngstown State, and he used 4 years of it. He used all 4 years. And I think the lowest pay he got was 88% that year.
Wow.
1 year was 100, 1 year was 92%. So, and that really helped. So even though he still filed his FAFSA, he only had to use the one.
Right.
And that just took care of the other benefits, because mostly everything else was paid for. So he graduated with hardly any student loans. Not like what everybody else is seeing, hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans. But that was a blessing that he was eligible for that program. So if you are a veteran and you are at least 60% disabled, that's worth looking into for your children.
Absolutely. And I was going to mention there's a plethora of scholarships, and some of them are based on state or national. I mean, there's certain qualifications. So, it's so broad, when you mention, what scholarships are available, because there are so many out there. I mean, they even have scholarships that, are just for women or just for men. I mean, it definitely varies. And I know, like, with us being military, a lot of times, we go to like the AM Vets or the American Legion, scholarships, again, there's so many. I mean, even in the local community, sororities give out scholarships, to high schoolers. So there's just so many scholarships out there. So, it's definitely good, to tap into, your resources or, of course, your church resources. We're definitely there to assist however we can. Well, again, I don't know how we're looking on time.
Yes. We have one more panelist that's going to share.
Okay.
He's wrapping up. He's a part of the Boy Scouts.
Okay.
He's a troop leader and also a representative of, Navy recruit.
Okay.
Yes.
So we do have another panelist coming up. So whomever wants to
I'm on
leave
the
me.
end. I'll go.
I have a question though. For those who are on the fence,
Can they hear you?
Okay, yes, okay. Hopefully they can hear me. But no, for those who are on the fence and don't know if they want to join the military or not, and you may have already covered this, and I apologize, but what was your biggest push, or what would you say to someone who's on the fence of, do I want to do the military or do I not?
We're gonna let the recruiter take that one since that's his baby.
Yeah, so if one is on the fence of joining or not, I just, really take time. Life is about time. There's no rush in making the decision. Obviously, once you are privy to all the benefits that you are informed of, and I think it's also about support. You have to think about your stability. As a growing individual, you just have to think about, am I going to grow as a person in general? It's not about just the educational benefits or the training. It's about growth in itself. And you'll learn that even in the corporate world, you're going to grow as a person, even in the corporate world as well. So just in general, it's all about your growth and where you want to go in life. And, just take it day by day. And that's really all I can really say. So.
That's good. No, thank you. I appreciate that.
I totally agree with that. Definitely embrace, for me, it was to embrace growth as well as challenges. So I totally agree with you there.
I would.
And many moons ago, when I joined,
Not too many, that's all.
I'm with you, Vicki. I'm with you.
we really didn't have a lot of choices. And sometimes just getting away to breathe. I was planning on going in for 4 years and getting out. And 28 years later, I retired, So just finding yourself and just finding what you want to do. The travel is great. Great. But yeah, just put yourself out there. I mean, just talk to people that have gone, or just get somewhere, go to some events. They have stations all the time, everywhere. Just talk to different branches.
Yes.
Unless you're dead set on this is where I want to go, talk to different branches because to get a feel for everything.
Absolutely. And we know a lot of times, it's because of the legacy, they joined the Navy because the dad was in the Navy.
Right.
So I agree, yeah, because me and my husband rival all the time. I'm Army and he Navy, so I'm the best, so
That's funny because I'm Air Force and my husband's Marine.
Oh, so y'all
So he's the best.
Yes, y'all definitely bump heads.
She
What
said
they
no.
So for me, I didn't join right out of high school. I joined military-wise, I was older. So I had my 24th birthday at basic training. So I was older than everyone else there. I've already experienced life, lived on my own, had a job, had my own apartment and all of those things. So the experience was a little different for me. But the decision for me to join was just to be able to not only afford my education, but also to just better my life and provide myself with opportunities that I wouldn't have been afforded had I not joined. There's things that I've done and seen because of the military that I would have never been able to experience, as far as going overseas and being exposed to different nationalities and ethnicities and equipment. Having a secret clearance and being able to go behind that little door that nobody else can get behind. It's fun. So it's like, no, I can't tell you. It's none of your concern. So, that's always something nice and fun. And like I said, you do gain a camaraderie. Like some of the people who I've deployed with, those friendships don't even compare to childhood friendships. It's just different. So
Absolutely.
It's a great experience.
All right. Standing tall and looking good. We have Brother Matthews here, retired Navy. I'm not sure your rank. I don't.
Lieutenant Commander.
Woo!
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us
Praise the
today. You definitely look pretty spiffy. So, actually, we can do something a little different because I feel as though you just really want to share something with us outside of our questions here. So definitely just tell us some about your military life and your journey with the military.
23 years
Okay.
in the Ready Reserves.
Okay.
With 4 years of active duty within the Ready Reserves. I had 3 commands.
Okay.
I was the commanding officer of Public Works Organization.
Okay.
Basically, I'm a Civil Engineer Corps officer.
Got you. I used to work for the Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh, okay. Similar to the Army Corps of Engineers,
Yes.
the Civil Engineer Corps of the Navy takes care of United States interests outside of the United States,
Okay.
whereas the Corps of Engineers takes care of infrastructure interests within the United States.
Yes.
So the Corps of Engineers, everywhere from Hawaii to the Far East,
Yes.
we do ashore facilities and so forth.
Yeah.
Most of my experience was with the Seabees, construction forces of the Navy.
Okay.
And I had perhaps 3 commands in the Seabees also.
Yes.
Seabees train with Marines. As a matter of fact, the SEALs originated from the Seabees in terms of underwater demolition teams and
Yes.
so forth, the Brown Water Navy of Vietnam.
Right.
I had various commands on the
Yes.
battalion level and on the
Yes.
regimental level
Yes.
with the Seabees.
Yes. He was in charge, you all.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for your service. Did you get a chance, because I know years ago, I hear it, even from my husband, he said, he regret not taking advantage of the education benefits, when he was in. So how did you take advantage of I know the Navy benefits are different from, the Army. So did you take advantage of the education benefits where you were in?
There's a lot of things in my background that are very different.
Okay.
My source of commissioning was through officer candidate school.
Yes. Yes.
As a matter of fact, I joined the Navy as an enlisted person.
Right.
In nuclear power submarines as an electronic technician.
Yes.
I qualified for officer candidate school.
Right.
And to continue in submarines in nuclear power, I would have had to qualify again. And because of my engineering background, I opted to go with the Seabees, construction forces.
Okay. So when you because I kind of know the process now of how, to get commissioned. Back then, did you already have your degree when you came in and enlisted, and then you crossed over to officer?
In officer candidate school,
Right.
all the candidates are degreed.
Right, with a
And
bachelor's at least, right?
Yes, at least a
Got
bachelor's.
It. Got
And,
it.
Typically, officer candidate school has a good cross-section of all the perhaps elite educational institutions in the country.
Yes.
And you're commissioned as an ensign from there. That distinguishes itself from the other sources of commission like ROTC,
Yes.
where you're earning a degree.
That's right.
Or the Naval Academy, where that's a full scholarship program. All the Navy programs are full scholarship,
Right.
including Naval ROTC. I did participate in the Blue and Gold recruitment program
Okay.
for the Naval Academy
Okay.
itself. And
Now, did you get to travel any when you were in, or?
I traveled all over the place.
Okay. What are some of the
Everywhere.
places you've been?
On active duty, I was stationed with Mobile Construction Battalion 10,
Okay.
deployed to Vietnam. We were home ported on Okinawa
Yes.
for 8 months.
Yes, yes.
The next rotation deployment, we went to Rota, Spain, where we were
Yes.
alert battalion in the Atlantic this
Nice,
time.
nice.
Our primary responsibility was the desalination plant in
Mm-hmm.
Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Okay.
All the time on active duty, I was assigned the responsibility of a department head, the S1, the administrative
Personnel.
officer,
Okay,
personnel officer.
okay,
So
okay.
I wrote the orders for everybody.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was also a disciplinary officer. I was
Yes.
a legal officer, went to
Yes.
JAG school
Yes,
in Newport, Rhode
that's
Island,
awesome.
and I did
Okay.
the court martials and some court martials in the NJP, non-judicial punishment.
Yes, yes. Definitely. Awesome service. I love it. I love it.
Other places I was assigned, I mentioned Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, Okinawa,
Yes,
the Camp
Japan.
Shields. As a Ready Reserve commanding officer in the Pacific, I was the augment commanding officer for the Seabees in the Pacific, reporting to the commander of naval forces in the Pacific.
Yes.
I had various regimental commands. Other places I visited the Philippines quite extensively.
Nice.
In Hawaii, perhaps quite a bit.
My retirement trip.
Yeah.
Oh man, love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us this afternoon. I mean, I know you have a lot of stories to tell. I need to talk to you outside of this. Again, thank you all. Are we good on
I
time?
have a question, if you don't mind.
Okay, Miss Ashley has a
As we're
question.
wrapping up, can you share a little bit about, I know you do with, Navy recruitment and also with the Boy Scouts.
Yes, the Boy
And
Scouts.
just to kind of tie in, because I did not know that the Boy Scouts had scholarships available.
Nice.
I had no idea until our conversation the other week. Can you share a little bit about that briefly?
The Boy Scouts is my ministry. I've been volunteer for Boy Scouting for 30 years.
Yes.
I specialize in urban scouting, inner city kids. And that's not all African American either. I've had a good deal of Appalachian kids. My second Eagle Scout was a Appalachian
Nice.
young white man.
Okay.
He's now a PhD at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Okay.
So very proud of him.
Nice.
So we've made, I think, about 6 Eagle Scouts
Okay.
from the Linden area primarily.
Awesome.
Becoming an Eagle Scout requires 21 merit badges, which are 21 courses.
Okay.
And there is a full scholarship for Eagle Scouts. It's also a criteria is need and so forth. But typically, if an inner city kid qualifies from a basis of need and can do all the qualifications for Eagle Scout, that scholarship is pretty much a direct thing you can get.
About how much is
full
it?
scholarship.
Okay. That is awesome. Thank you.
Good to know, because I don't think we, in our community, we're aware of that.
Right.
And so,
Right.
and to know that now that Faith Ministries is I guess what is the proper term? We have our troop,
A chartered organization.
charter organization.
All right.
Yes, we can get a hold of you for
And
additional information.
21 merit badges is pretty difficult to do, and along the way, there's several projects at First Class, Life, and Eagle Level, and those are pretty sophisticated projects.
Yes.
And like I said, a merit badge is a course.
Right.
In Boy Scouts, there are 12 mandatory courses that all Eagle Scouts have to take, and the other, say 9, are optional, normally career-oriented,
Yes.
based on whatever the kid wants to do.
Yes.
computer science, STEM, whatever.
Right, that is awesome. So we know we have Boy Scout, we have the Boy Scouts recruiter here in our church as well. So we have a lot of resources, that, and a lot of, information that, we can share with the community, with our church family. So again, we wrapping it up. We greatly appreciate your time and attention to our presentation today. And again, if you have any questions regarding joining the National Guard, Boy Scout, definitely if you see me in church, just reach out. Ashley has my information, or Brother Carlos has my information. And I want to thank my panel for again. I know I was worrying you to death, but I greatly appreciate you all joining me. I love you all. And again, I want to thank our scholarship committee for their vision of providing these resources and tools, to you all. And thank you very much. And you all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you.